Talk. I'm Paige Turner, school counselor at Naval Middle School. Our show is all about the middle school student. We discuss social media, relationships, bullying, academics, stress, and so much more. Joining us each month is a dynamic and engaging panel of middle school students ready to discuss the issues and tackle the tough questions. We kick off our show with some Q&A, featuring questions on a variety of topics from middle schools throughout the school system that our panel of students are ready to answer. No question or topic is too difficult. All right, panelists, here is question number 1. It says, hello, I'm probably overreacting, but I have a friend who is continually bossing me around. She is rather self-absorbed and I feel like I'm always helping her and asking her how her day was when she doesn't seem to do the same for me. She never does anything mean, just stuff like choosing what we do all the time and telling her friend private things about me. She is going through difficult times right now and I'm trying to understand that. But sometimes I feel she takes out her frustration on me. I don't really know why, but I still want to be her friend. Even if I wanted to leave this friendship, I would have problems finding new people with whom to hang out. I think I might just be staying because I'm more afraid of being lonely than being with her. Should I leave or give her one more chance? What do you guys think? Any advice?
I think you should probably just talk to her and try to figure out what's the matter and maybe help her work it out a little. Okay. Give her just one more chance.
I understand the whole, getting frustrated at someone or something and then taking it out on someone else. Like, my brother and I do it to each other a lot because, it just always ends up that way. And the thing about her being bossy, I don't know if it could be that, or she might not understand that that's not always the things that you want to do. And maybe you're just not voicing your ideas strong enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, it said she was going through something, so try and be understanding, but you should stand up for yourself as well.
Yeah, it's a balance, a fine line, trying to figure out, because you don't want to, you want to be, empathetic, you want to be understanding, but at the same time, you also need to protect yourself, and you don't want to be a doormat and have your friend walk all over you all the time.
She also might not understand that she's being rude and overpowering and bossy, so you might just have to tell her.
Which is what you were talking about earlier, is having that conversation and, laying it out there in a, a positive way and just say, this is how I'm feeling. And then if after that conversation it still happens, then she can't say she didn't know, right?
Yeah.
Or he. I can't remember if it was a he or she.
Oh, I was going to say, the whole thing about, being lonely and it's going to be hard to find new friends. It's better to be lonely than a doormat.
You think so?
Mm-hmm. Because if you're lonely, you're still you, and you can experiment and see if you can find people that you click with. Mm-hmm. But as a doormat, you're just kind of stuck there. You can't do anything about it, and that's a really bad position to put yourself in socially.
Yeah, absolutely. What were you going to say? Were you going to say something, Sully?
I definitely think you should definitely talk to your friend and tell her how you're feeling, and don't let her tell you what to do, because that's not what a good friend should do.
Absolutely. And I think, sometimes we stay in friendships or relationships because it's comfortable. It's our comfort zone, and going outside of that is uncomfortable. But sometimes we have to do that in order to open ourselves up to new relationships, new experiences, and new situations. If we stay stuck, then we may lose out on things that could happen. It's kind of like a leap of faith, right? You just have to kind of put yourself out there. But it sounds like your advice would be to have a conversation, let your friend know how you're feeling, but also making sure that you're standing up for yourself too. So good advice. So the next question is, I am constantly comparing myself to teenagers who are already successful in life, such as celebrities, musicians, and other high-profile young people. They are already making a lot of money and connections while I am stuck at school. It makes me feel really bad about myself and that I am not good enough. How can I stop this when these images and ideals are all over television and social media?
Don't be on social media.
So that's that's perfect answer, is just stay off of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing about the people that a a lot of people, when they make, or when they get chances, like the celebrities and musicians that they do, it's because they make, most of the time it's because they're really good at what they choose to do, and people like, or like they create something that people really like, and just kind of boost them and boost them and boost them. The thing about being in school is, like, it sucks for a while just because it's so much work and so much learning, but it'll put you in a really good position for when you come out of college, if you get there. It puts you in a great position to really find what you like to do and get a good job and have a steady life.
Absolutely. And I think there's, what we see on TV, what we see on social media, maybe is not as wonderful as maybe it appears, because we all know just everyday people put the best of the best out there usually, but definitely celebrities and people that are high profile, they're most of the time putting out just kind of the best of the best too, and there's always perhaps a downside to what they're doing, and being famous and having all that money at such a young age. So
just because it glimmers doesn't mean it's gold.
Right.
Yeah, you should just be proud of yourself and what personality you have. Just be proud of it.
Right.
And if if you feel bad about getting compared, then you don't have to get compared to like celebrities. Just be yourself.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I think, if that is something that makes you feel bad about yourself, then like Ben was saying, then maybe you need to take a break from the social media, take a break from that stuff so that you're not constantly seeing those images. Because it is hard sometimes to see all that and not to it start, affecting you. So I think that's a good idea too. Do you have anything, Maya? Any
I guess
ideas,
you can
thoughts?
compare them. You could pair yourself to them in a good way. Like, they have to be on such a tight schedule at such a young age. They don't get to experience like what you would get to experience, like normal middle
Everyday
school
stuff.
stuff.
They don't get a childhood. It's
A business.
being famous and being a celebrity is a lot more than most people would think. It can be very tough on the brain.
Yeah, absolutely. So kind of taking a step back and realizing the grass may not be greener on the other side, and appreciate what you do have. I think that's a great advice for sure. All right, well, I think we only had time for 2, so thank you guys so much. That wraps up U Talk Q&A. Coming up in our next segment, Mrs. DeMolina and our panel of students discuss digital footprints. Don't go away, we have much more U Talk ahead.
If you love them enough to drive an hour to cheer them on as they get beat 11-0 in the rain, then surely you'll check NHTSA.gov/the right seat to make sure they're correctly buckled in the back seat.
Throw that ball, Diane. Woo! You got this.
When you adopt a shelter pet, you discover their unique mix of all kinds of traits.
Where'd Wiley go? Where's Wiley? Ah, there she is. Paw?
Do you remember being an ancient wolf? Do you ever feel the call of the wild?
You're a renegade cop, and I'm a con woman with nothing to prove. But together, we could really solve this murder.
They're a little bit of a lot of things, but all of them are pure love.
Welcome back to U Talk. I'm Megan DeMolina, school counselor at Noble Middle School. As we enter the new decade, it is critical to be aware of the online identity that you create and how everything you do online is an extension of yourself. Your digital footprint is part of your online reputation and can leave a positive or negative impression wherever you go. It is important to remember that anything posted online is permanent and stays there forever, even if you delete it. Let's check in with our panelists to see what mark they are currently leaving in the digital world. So panelists, digital footprints. Here we are talking about this time and time again. I know that term has come up before. I know that there's digital literacy, I think, that you do in 6th grade. Just to start talking about what that means, what that looks like, but how would you say your digital footprint is today?
I would say mine as well. I don't do social media, and that makes it really easy to keep it clean, because social media can sometimes tempt you to do bad things or post mean comments, post bad pictures, kind of whatever. So staying off that helps a lot.
Sure. And do you do that by choice, or do you just have some boundaries in place that?
I'm allowed to do a lot, but social media is not one of the things I can do.
Sure. It can take a lot of time away from tasks that you need to complete in terms of homework and projects and activities that you're all involved in as well.
Yeah,
Yes.
my parents don't let me do social media, and I think that's fine because, it leaves a good mark on your digital footprint if you don't have the temptation to post something bad. So.
Sure. The temptation, I've heard you both mention that, and that can be, sometimes you just get caught up in that, especially when your peers and friends are doing it.
Yeah, like peer pressure.
And that pressure not only extends from the hallways of school or the buses or in the classroom, but it can spill over into social media and online. How about you, Maya? What do you think?
I'm not allowed to have social media, so
Yeah.
I guess mine's pretty clean.
It's a good place to start, I guess, right? How about you, Solly?
I can have social media. My parents, sometimes they'll check it, and I don't really do anything bad.
Sure. I think it's an important thing to learn. It is, unfortunately, I don't think it's going away. I think that it's definitely present, and now that we've moved into the new decade, even more present. And I think more importantly is when you do learn how to use it, or when you do begin to use social media apps or just more technology at your fingertips, learning how to use it appropriately, right? Socially responsibly, making sure that the images that you're posting are clean, are appropriate and not offensive. And that's hard too, because we all have the freedom, of speech and the right to speak our minds and say what we want to say and need to say, but that whole digital footprint concept really does follow you into high school, into your first job, maybe into college, and into your future careers. So it's really important that we think about, the things that I post today could come back and haunt me later in the future, and we don't want to get into that situation where you have that regret or feeling of oh man, I shouldn't have done that or got caught up in that. So it's good to talk about now, so that as you're making and designing and creating your digital footprint, it's respectful, it's clean, it's an extension of who you are. So recently I just did a lesson in the classroom, and we talked about your character in person and then your character online. How is that the same? How is that different? And a lot of students talked about how their character in person was one way, maybe more positive, and then maybe their character online was a little bit more negative. And it gave them something to think about and reflect on. So just wondered if you had any thoughts about that, and would you say that your online, whatever you're doing in terms of, I know you're not on the social media apps and things like that, but when you're interacting with friends through the text messages or group chats, would you say that it's mostly positive?
Yeah.
It's between, sometimes when it's games, your personality switches because you really like a game or dislike a game. It kind of blends, and that's a thing that I notice sometimes when I play games on my Xbox with some of my friends. It's like
the emotion comes out a little bit and kind of gets portrayed in the messages you post or share.
Or not even that, just the way that what I say.
Yeah. Okay. What do you do when you see something or you come across an inappropriate post or an inappropriate picture or image? How do you handle that? What do you need to do in terms of, interacting with that or not interacting with that?
Social media keeps me far away.
Sure. At a
Not
distance.
non-social media.
Right.
I think that if I did have it, I would just ignore it and like move on from it, because I'm not going to focus my energy on like that.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Recognizing that, if that happened live, in person, maybe you would handle it one way, and then trying to figure out how to handle that online or in the internet
If it was someone that like went to your school, you could maybe report them kind of without them knowing, like an anonymous reporting.
Sure, and we do have the anonymous reporting available now, so that we can make sure everyone is safe, safe from harm to themselves, harm to others. So that's one way that you can report with the
or if you didn't know them, you could just leave it alone and ignore it.
Sure. Sometimes it's good to just ignore it and not get involved or not post anything back, even if you put like a emoji with like a thumbs up, because then you're becoming part of that, and you want to keep that clean and not be involved. And then remember, we do also have the Ethics 360 reporting system that is new for bullying and harassment and discrimination. So that's another way that people can anonymously report when they see something happen or hear something about anyone being bullied online or in person. So never forget
and
that.
The whole thing that they were talking about, like even when you delete something, it doesn't go away. That's true, because even if it's deleted on your end, the 10, 20, 50, 100, 1,000 people that saw it that weren't you, even if you take it down, they'll always have it, because just because it's online deleted doesn't mean it's like gone forever.
Right.
Everything can always be pulled back up, because people are that good with technology.
Right. Well, and it's very hard to track how far out it ripples and expands, and then how many views it's received, and once it's been posted, it's out of our control, right? So always be careful, especially online. Thank you, panelists. Now don't go away. When we return, we will talk about music, movies, and more. We'll be right back.
I like to eat apples and bananas. I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
It's a beautiful day out here. Sunny today with light breezes, giving way to clouds in the afternoon. We could see some light precipitation to moderate precipitation later on, followed by powerful storm-like conditions. 90 miles per hour winds are expected. Authorities are asking everyone, stay indoors. Come on, that's it. Let's go.
Welcome back to U Talk. We always like to keep a pulse on what is trending for middle school students in the world of entertainment and online media. Welcome back. So, guys, what is kind of big and new right now?
Star Wars is old, but it's still Star Wars.
Okay, so tell me more about this. What is it the movie?
It's number 9, but no one has ever called it number 9 because it's like part of a new saga. It's the third movie in the new saga, and it's Rise of Skywalker.
Okay.
It's a completely different time period. They're like 2 Jedi left, and it's great.
Came out like a month ago.
2 months.
Didn't he die last one? I thought. Okay, never mind.
Luke died in the last one, but yeah.
All right, spoiler alert.
That
from an old one, if people didn't watch it yet.
From 8.
Yes. So, okay, so that's something. Somebody mentioned too that Sonic came out, is coming out. What, something?
New Sonic.
Okay, tell us about that.
No idea.
You're like our movie guru, I guess.
It's just new Sonic.
There was an old
also-
Sonic, right?
yeah.
That got turned into like a internet meme.
Yeah, because it was
So
absolutely horrible.
And
It
is
was
this
so bad.
really bad.
Now, I'm gonna
CGI was
date myself. The only Sonic I can think of is Sonic the Hedgehog.
That's
That
what
is-
we
yeah,
talked
that
about.
is- yeah.
Okay, that used to be like a Sega game or some type
it
of
was.
game
It was.
There's also like a Peter Rabbit 2 and a Croods 2.
that are coming out. Okay.
But no one watches either of those in school.
They might.
Peter
They
Rabbit
might.
was good.
I liked Frozen 2, so, and I'm much older than middle school.
Frozen 2 was good.
I want to watch Frozen.
But Frozen,
Yeah. So good.
Frozen 2 was. It was middle school.
It was middle school, okay. All right. What about music? Anything kind of trending in music or social media? Memes? Is there anything out there that's like big right now?
Not really.
Not really. Electronics? Anything? Same old, same old.
Same old, same old.
The new iPhone came out a couple of months ago.
As did the AirPod Pros. And
AirPod Pros.
Yeah.
Came out
I
like
don't
a
see
few
the point
months.
of the AirPod Pros.
I've
They're
never,
just the same
but
thing.
I've never understood. Like the only reason for like when they create the iPhones, like the 8S Plus. Like what's the difference between the 8 and the 8S Plus? Is the only difference like the name?
The size. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Apparently, the bigger your phone is, like the richer you are. Like I don't
know.
I've never understood the whole point of flexing the size of your phone or what type of phone it
Well,
is.
and the funny thing is, and again, this is all about me dating myself. You know, phones used to be huge, and then they got smaller, and now they're getting bigger. It's all the pendulum swinging back. So
You're going back to retro 90s.
Yes.
And I'm not sure that I like it.
Like the big phones are more inconvenient because they're like
You can't fit them
harder
in
to
your
carry
pocket. Like,
around.
what's the point?
Like small phones are easier to.
And it's easier to type on bigger phones, in my opinion.
Yeah, because
I have a small phone, but it's great because it actually fits in my pocket, and like it's not like carrying an iPad around like all the time.
Well, and I was about to say, a lot of the phones now, I mean, they're basically little computers, is everything that you can do with them. So the bigger the screen, you know, if you're using them in that way, if you're just using it as a phone, then clearly the smaller one is probably good, but
Yeah.
I was at a. Okay, you can talk.
I have the XR and it's like that much out of my pocket when I'm walking because, you know, girls don't have big
Deep
pockets, so
pockets.
we can't put big phones in our pockets pretty much.
yeah.
Because people are stereotypical and do not believe in deep pockets.
I was just gonna say that we went to the phone store the other day, and there was this really small phone, and it was like this big, and it like connects to your real phone as like a backup phone.
I've never heard of that.
That was the
interesting.
first time seeing it, but it
That
works
hurts
like
my-
a regular
Why?
phone. Well, it's in case you lose it,
Is
then
it
you
like,
still have your
does
regular
it have
phone.
like everything on it, or can
Yeah.
you just text and call?
Has everything on it.
Who need?
I kind of want that. I just want the tiny phone.
It's like when you go
What is the
running.
point?
When you
Just
go
to have a
running,
little
just
spear
have
to- for
a
like,
little one.
yeah.
Why? Like, just
blowing your mind, Ben?
if you need to use a smaller phone, then just buy a smaller phone.
But what if you want both a
what's
small
the
and a
point?
big
Like,
phone?
what's the point
has
of
to
paying an
connect.
extra $300 for a small phone when you can get and then having a big phone that costs like $1,000? Why not just have a single small phone that's like $250?
You know? I don't know. It's
I mean, the small phone has to connect to the big one to be able to work.
Well, I
So it
mean,
has to be
some.
close
Well,
by.
it's like on the same account.
Got it.
It has to be like on the same.
So like,
doesn't have to
if
be
the
close
small
by.
phone would be more useful if you're like going on like a run or like I don't know,
And you
or
don't
you
feel
just
like,
want a small phone.
The big
But you
phones-
also want a big phone, you know?
Big
It's
phones
like
are
a
never
medium phone.
useful.
But
What's
it's for
the
that.
point?
But it's for
Well,
those
it's
maybe that
useful
like.
for some who like
both.
it, you know?
So Maya sees herself possibly being able to use both in different situations. It sounds
I
like.
But
so.
who
Probably
wants a
wouldn't.
phone that's halfway into your pocket? That's asking for someone to steal it.
Well, they might like it. They might like a bigger phone.
Like a bigger screen, like if you're watching
But
Netflix
where
on
are you
your
gonna
phone.
put it?
In a bag.
Like in a purse. Well,
in your pocket,
boys-
like
boys
if you have a
don't
sweatshirt, you have like that front pocket.
Most sweatshirts don't have pockets big enough for
some
those
do.
things.
Well,
Your
you know what?
sweatshirt has a pocket big enough.
Well, this one's special.
All right. So, but I think basically that is an option for somebody who might want multiple devices that they could use in different situations.
But no
'Cause
one
definitely,
needs that.
There's some people that may want it. There's some people that may want it.
Yeah.
So, any final thoughts?
They
Thank
might
you
have,
guys
like,
for your
small
opinions on this topic. Any final thoughts about just anything that's new, trending? Not about phones. We're done with that.
No, I have one more
No,
comment
we're done
about that.
about phones.
Anyone who needs a second phone just for it to be smaller has way too much money, and they need to give that money to charity.
All right. Well, that is.
Well, the small
that's a
phone's probably
possibility.
cheaper.
Exactly.
Yeah, well,
so buy the small one.
No, but
What
it
if you had
can't
like a
work
child
alone.
and your child like has like an after school and like you have to like you want to make sure you know them, so you have your big phone, but then you give the child a little phone.
But I think you can.
for
You
their
could probably
tiny hands.
only use one at a time.
But they can text themselves.
Yeah, I don't think you could use two at the same time.
Okay, so final thoughts. So each of you are going to have a second to give a final thought about a trend, whether it be music, technology, anything that you think is kind of something that you're looking forward to seeing or being involved in. So, Sully, anything you're looking forward to, a movie or television, anything that you're looking forward to?
Well, every other week I go to my dad's house and we sit on our couch, and so we have this like little table, and it just goes up, and so we can just eat there. Me and my brother, and my dad has a side table, and we just eat while watching our favorite show, Survivor.
Okay, and is there a new one coming out?
Yes.
I heard that there was a new one in.
So awesome. So that's something you're looking forward to.
I
Maya?
know Frozen already came out, but I
Yes.
haven't seen it, and I'm looking forward to seeing it soon.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Good job.
I'm looking forward to Apple making smaller phones.
Of course you are. And we're all going to chip in and get you one.
I already have one. I don't need a smaller one.
But you need the second one, the little baby one that goes with it.
I don't think it was. I don't think it
Why
was an
would I need
iPhone.
a baby
It
phone
wasn't
to
an
go with my
iPhone.
baby
I don't
phone?
think so.
All right,
You need a second
Morgan,
baby phone.
what is something you're looking forward to, whether it be a movie or TV or music, technology?
I don't know. Probably just new shows and new movies to see.
Absolutely. 2020, I think there's going to be a lot of new stuff coming out.
I want
new and
Disney Plus
exciting
so I
things.
can watch The Mandalorian.
Yes.
I started it
yeah.
I started it last December and I didn't get to watch any of it, and like I really want to watch it because it's supposed to be really good, and
Awesome.
I want to watch it, but
That's
I can't. 'Cause I
another
don't have
thing.
Disney Plus.
Okay. Yeah, Disney Plus was something that
That's
was really
really
big a
big.
couple of months ago, so for sure. All right, well, thank you guys for all your opinions and ideas and what's kind of trending and maybe not trending right now. So that wraps up our program this month. I'm Paige Turner on behalf of my co-host Megan DeMolina and the entire UTalk panel. Thanks for watching. We hope you'll submit questions to our show and tune in again next month for an all-new episode of UTalk.